Okay, hi. I wanted to talk today a little bit about a project at PLOS that we have been working on for a number of years. And I think of this as a failure in the sense that it is something that has not met our expectations. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about, I think pretty much everybody knows who PLOS is, right? And I think probably everyone knows things like PLOS One, right? You know that journal? And how many of you ever heard of currents before the first slide? Yeah, there you go. So starting currents was part of the third piece of our mission here, which is leading a transformation in scientific communication. And that's really where this product was meant to go. This is the homepage for Currents, really compelling. I'm not gonna but here's the original concept. And the idea behind it was to really have a forum for communication of original results that was quick and fast and that could really get things out into scientists' hands quickly. It had an integrated authoring and publication platform, so people could author on it, they could go through the peer review process, and it was published on the same platform. It was streamlined peer review process. It was supposed to be very quick and easy to get through. And we encouraged what we were calling short form publications. So things that were not the usual, 15-page article. These were things that could be preliminary communications, that could be the results of a single study, some data, it could be anything like that. And they were targeted. So we started with one, and I'll show you how they grew over time. But we brought in some small but very engaged editorial boards who handled these submissions that came in. They were in small subject areas. And so this is the way things started. We started in 2009 with a section on influenza at about the time that H1N1 was hitting. And that sort of got us started. Well, this would be a great way to get results out from researchers that had to do with something that was current in the news. That's where that came from, currents. Great. In 2010, we added a section on Huntington's disease, one on evidence on genomic tests, and one on tree of life. I'm not going to explain what all of these are. I'm just going to go through them quickly. In 2011, another one on muscular dystrophy, 2012, disasters, and in 2013, we renamed influenza to outbreaks and expanded it to include things like Zika and things like that. So the reality of it, though, has turned out to be, it was supposed to be a forum for rapid publication, but it's really not much different from any of our journals. And in fact, for some things, especially time to first decision, when we've looked at that, it actually takes longer than most of our journals to come to a first decision. The integrated authoring and publication platform was a wonderful idea, but it's a NOTAM, and there's no support for it anymore. So that product is being sunsetted itself. The streamlined peer review process, again, it's not much faster than our other journals. And the short form publications, well, people are really just submitting full articles. So we're really not hitting the things that we intended in the first place. In addition to those things, because it's a separate platform, there's no consistent indexing across the journal's platform along with the currents. So you don't come to the PLOS site and you're not able to get everything all at once, which is frustrating for people. And having the NOTAM platform means that we can't use the staff that we have now that work with our editorial manager platform and our other publishing platforms for production and everything else, we can't use the same, well, we do use the same staff, but we have to retrain people to be able to support both types of things. So that's been a difficulty for the manuscript processing. And in fact, a NOTAM is extremely difficult to sort of push things through. It's really not a peer review system. So mostly everything has to be handled manually. And we're not charging anything for this. There's no APC associated because we thought these were going to be small things that just sort of went through quickly. There's no APC, so there's nothing to offset all the costs that we have. So it's not sustainable on its own. And in the end, only 2 of the sections get any real volume of submissions. And even those 2, disasters and outbreaks, don't get a lot. I mean, certainly compared to PLOS One, they get nothing. But even in comparison to our other journals, they get very little. So, what are we going to do with these, right? They've been hanging out for a while. And we've been thinking about a number of different things to sort of either trying to sunset them or to revise them and make them, do some different things, which I'll talk about in a minute. But some of the things that I've been thinking about in terms of how we think about these and why it's taken a good number of years to even really talk about why they're still there when they're clearly not meeting the needs that we thought they were meeting. And I think, this first one for PLOS certainly is a big thing for us. We're mission driven, and we really believed that these were going to serve a purpose in the market that was important for researchers. And it's hard for us to let go of that. And we keep thinking, you know what, it'll get better. People will see them and they'll realize that it really serves a purpose. And I think we just have to recognize that that's probably not going to happen. And following from that, it's hard to tell. Are we just ahead of the curve? Are we just, people will follow when they realize that this is really a great idea? Or did we just miss the mark? It's hard to step back again and really look at it in that way. And, sort of the beware of good ideas that you really haven't market tested. I think that was part of it. We got some editorial boards that were excited and interested, and we failed to look beyond that. And then, because I do operations, that this second to last one is really important to me. I've got staff supporting 2 different systems and handling things manually in a system that has very little volume, while we've got other journals that have high volume that require a lot of attention, and it takes away from those. And there was really no plan for sustainability. We really needed to know what this was going to cost us and whether we could support it in the long term. So here's the thought going forward is, so can we take a lemon and make some lemonade out of it? We do have a new program that we're calling Channels. And this is actually content that comes into our journals, all 7 of the journals, and then we can pull it together under the heading of a channel that co-locates some content that is in a particular topic area. And then we can also pull things in from other journal sites, from blogs, from other places, and pull it together and have that be something that serves a need. And in addition, that what's nice about this is we're developing these because people have come to us and asked for them. So we know that there's a need in the market. So the idea would be to shift at least those 2 more successful current sections to submit through PLOS One and then pull that content into a channel. We would retain the the editors who were committed to this and have them handle the papers, along with other +1 editors, hopefully. And the submissions could come into the other journals too. I mean, some of these are medically related. They could come into medicine or neglected tropical diseases, one of our other journals. And that would hopefully have things go forward a little bit better. And we've just announced 3 new channels, or the first 3 channels, and in these 3 areas. And hopefully we can, I'm hoping, we'll be able to move some of the currents work into this way of dealing with things. And that, isn't it? Oh, I went over my 10 minutes. You didn't tell me.
Perfect.